Welcome back. So far, we've given you suggestions on how to hone in on exactly what you want to share with your audience and how. You've shot your video and gathered any extra media needed to complete it. In this video, we'll cover the basics of editing and post-production, as well as exporting your final video to share with others. If you haven't watched the first 2 videos in this series, we suggest you go back and start there before continuing with this one. Today's topic: the edit. Most of the content we view, from movies to TV shows to YouTube videos, has been edited. Editing is the process of taking all the parts of a given shoot and taking out, adding to, or rearranging those parts to create the final version. There are many applications you can download to edit video, ranging anywhere in price from free to tens of thousands of dollars. We suggest you do a web search for free video editor or free video editing software if you have no experience. Try out some free or inexpensive applications and see what the best fit is for you. Today we'll be using Adobe Premiere Pro, but most any video editing application will work in the same way. Some of the terminology may be different, but the concept is the same. You will import the pieces of your production, whether video, audio, pictures, or graphics, into your video editing software and begin the process of putting it all together. Here's where keeping all the elements to be used in one place on your computer will come in handy. You'll need to import all of these pieces of media into your editing program. On Premiere Pro, from the File menu, we click on Import, then find the folder we've placed our media elements in. We select them all and import them into our project. Now everything we need is right here inside our editing software, ready to be finalized. The main parts of a video editing app are the timeline. This is where you will edit your video and combine elements like pictures or music. It is an exact representation of your final video. What is here is what you will eventually share. The program monitor. This is where you will view what's down in the timeline. The program monitor and timeline are always linked. What's happening in the timeline is what's happening in the program monitor, and vice versa. The project panel. This is where all of your media you just imported is stored, ready to be put into the timeline to create your video. First, click and drag your video from the project panel to the timeline. When you do, you'll see 2 lanes, one for video and one for audio. Press the spacebar or the play button to begin playing back your video. In the program monitor, you'll see your video playing back and hear the audio that was recorded as well. Notice the cursor on the timeline moving from left to right, showing you exactly where in the video you are. Before we show you some examples of editing, familiarize yourself with the 2 basic tools you'll use most often. The selection tool. This is used to select and move pieces of media around in the timeline. The razor tool. This is used to make a cut in your video. This is just like using a razor blade to trim your video. Here are some examples of basic editing. As your video plays, you may come to a section that you don't want included in your video. Put the cursor just before the spot you want to delete. Then, using the razor tool, make a cut. Continue playback until you get to the end of the spot you'd like to delete, and using the razor tool again, make a cut there. Now, using the selection tool, select the piece of video you want to delete. Once it's highlighted, hit the delete key. Now select the video past the cursor and drag it back to line up next to the first place you cut. There are many ways to delete, including ripple editing, replacing, or clearing, that are beyond the scope of this video. Explore the software you're currently using to discover your favorite ways of deleting. Stop playback or move the cursor to a place you'd like to insert video. Using the razor tool, make a cut. Now, with the selector tool, drag any clips past the cursor down the timeline, creating a gap. Drag the video you'd like to insert into the gap, butting it up against the video before the cursor. Now, select the video after the gap and drag it back against the video you just inserted, closing that gap. There are many ways to perform this operation, including the Track Select Forward tool or the Ripple Editing tool. Again, explore the tools your application offers to find the most convenient way to perform this action. Do you have music, pictures, or graphics you want to put into your video? Simply put the cursor at the spot you'd like to insert something and drag that media from the project panel to your timeline on an empty lane. Once in the timeline, you can use the selector tool to drag the media around, make it longer or shorter, or copy it to use elsewhere in the project. With each of these changes you make, play back your video to view your edit. If things are not quite right, use Command-Z on Mac or Control-Z on Windows to undo your edit and try again. After some practice, you're sure to get the hang of it. In our last video, we spoke about using an external microphone to record your audio. If this is something you've done, you now need to sync the audio recording from your microphone with the video footage you've recorded. Here's how. Drag the audio recording from your microphone onto the timeline in one of the empty audio lanes. Now go to the place in the video recording that you clapped. Place the cursor directly on the spot your hands come together. Take a look at the audio recording from your microphone. You should see a large spike. This spike is a waveform representation of your clap. That's the point you'll want to line up with your video right when your hands come together. Using the selection tool, drag the audio track of the microphone until the audio spike lines up directly with the cursor you placed on the clap you see in the program monitor. Congratulations! Your external audio has now been synced to your video. Repeat this process with any other video clips you have in your timeline. Once you've gotten everything synced and edited to your liking, it's now time to export your video. From the File menu, choose Export and then Media to bring up the Export Settings dialog. By default, most programs will export the same settings the original video was recorded in, and for beginners, we suggest you do the same. The focus of this video is on YouTube, and YouTube accepts a wide array of video types, so exporting using your existing settings should work out just fine. Be sure to click on the name or the Save As box to save your new video to a specific location and name it. Now click Export, and the exporting of your video will begin. Once it's finished, you will now have a new video file, edited and ready to share with the world. In our next lesson, we will discuss how to create a YouTube channel and upload and publish your videos. Before you watch the next video, take the time to edit and finalize and export the video you'd like to share. And remember, the most important thing to do is start.